What else is in our drinking water?
Well, a lot of hormone-related stuff, birth control stuff, and urine-containing hormones goes out there that might make it into drinking water. I think it's just a good idea to filter your drinking water if possible. And for people that can't afford a fancy filtering system, a tabletop, pour type filtering system is pretty good as long as you change over the filters. You can. What else is in there? Well, the BPAs and the phthalates and the mostly BPAs and these forever chemicals are very concerning. These forever chemicals don't leave the body. That's their concern, or the concern rather. I think for me, just trying to limit drinking out of plastic bottles has become important. If you buy things in plastic, like fruits or vegetables, which they do a lot now, which I do, can't always make it to farmers markets. Putting it into a bowl, rinsing it off, is key. Those little steps and not handling receipts is key. If you do have to handle receipts for work, you should wear nitrite gloves. Not nitrite, excuse me. You should wear nitrile gloves. Nitrite would be something else. Nitrile gloves. Latex would be not as good, but still better than handling a lot of receipts. Shayna has done this work where they go in and work with couples that are trying to conceive and have trouble conceiving, and they remove a lot of the things from their life that I just described. They take a lot, and they see pretty impressive shift towards successful pregnancy, not making any other changes.
Wow.
Which is really impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
I get a question. I may have been sold on this, but when I was looking at all these different filtration systems, I was talking about that biodynamizer, and with the company and the installer that came out was telling me that if you take tap water and crystallize it, it looks like a deformed, non-symmetrical snowflake. And he says if you put it through the biodynamizer, then it will actually trick the water into thinking that it was like in a stream or in nature or wherever, and it will actually crystallize like it was from nature. Have you ever heard of this?
No, but I'm guessing if that's true, it's probably because the water coming out of the tap has other particles in there that the crystals form around and give you kind of more deformed crystals. There's a lot of stuff coming through the tap and pipes, and I'm not typically lumped into the conspiracy theorist camp. But what I am confident saying is that, I'm 49 now, so I get to say things like I'm 49 now. I also get to say things like, I remember when the lead thing became an issue, right? Lead paint, kids with neurologic defects from eating lead paint or for being exposed to lead. Asbestos warnings, right? Asbestos is bad, right? You don't want to be exposed to this stuff, lead or asbestos. I think fluoride has done more to strengthen teeth than damage it's done to most kids in most cities. So I think they had to make a best case decision there, kind of risk-benefit analysis there. But given that most people can probably afford an inexpensive filter for their water, and what's been shown about fluoride is somewhat concerning, probably best to filter it out now that we know. Remember, trans fats were everywhere. When I was growing up, everyone thought margarine was a healthier thing to eat. Now we know that stuff is really good to avoid. That's at the level of government. Microplastics, it was in 2015, I believe, probably got the date wrong, that they banned the use of these little microbeads in soaps. Remember the microbeads are because those were getting out into the environment and causing some serious issues for marine animals and marine life generally. And now we're starting to think about microplastics for humans. We're talking about it for adults, and everyone goes, oh gosh, this sounds like really woo. Guess what? They were banned from sippy cups from kids and from drink bottles from kids because the government knows that we don't want that stuff going into babies. So oftentimes same thing with chemical-based sunscreens for babies because their skin is much more permeable. So at what stage does your skin become so impermeable that it's safe to put these things on them? Well, mineral-based sunscreens with zinc oxide are generally thought to be safe. Chemical-based sunscreens, I catch a lot of heat for this. People are like, I can't believe he's saying this. In Europe, they allow, okay, fine. That's fine. But if it's even a remote possibility, why would you do it? Wear a hat or wear a long sleeve shirt. Like, this is where, why gamble on the on what people don't know. This is what makes sense to me, especially given that I work with scientists. I understand we know certain things, but we don't know everything. And then what you find is if you look into any field, like it was very interesting to cover sunscreen, because the dermatologists feel one way about sunscreen. Every dermatologist, including a dermatology oncologist, right, an expert in skin cancer, taught me the following. I didn't know this. Stanford trained, Harvard trained, published multiple quality research papers, and has a clinical practice. He said, yes, too much sun exposure can give you skin cancer, but it doesn't give you the most deadly skin cancers. Those can show up anyway. What's the takeaway? Even if you limit your sun exposure, you need to check your body for growths, not just moles that have changed. Most deadly melanomas are happen on de novo skin, meaning not where a mole is placed. No one ever told me that. I was